This is a basic editing tutorial on Final Cut Pro X, and this is for beginners. So if you're new to this software, this video is for you. Let's jump right in. So first you want to do is you want to go to Files, because we want to create a new library. Now think of libraries as a legit library, and the projects that you create in them are the books that go in them, okay? So this window will pop up to show you where you would like to save it. I'm going to save it in tutorial, and I am going to name this editing class, okay? So then we'll hit save, and now we have over here our library right here. And then we're gonna go over here to this star with this date right here. This is what you call your events. And how I like to see the events is pretty much my project that I'm going to be working on is going to be placed at. So where I want to place, what do we want to rename this? We'll do long form. Okay. And once we have that, we can start importing media. So there are two ways you can do this. You can go to File once again, and you can go to Import Media, and then this Import Media window will pop up, and you can find your media there. I like to do it the simple way. I will just go over here, and I will look for my clips, highlight them, and I will drag and drop them into my events, and boom, there it goes. We have all our events right here, and what you could do is you could take this up here, you could drag it to make more space. So I want to drag it, make more space, and these are my clips that I'm going to be working with. Now, you want to stay organized when editing. In certain other editing softwares like DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro, they might have different names like bins or any other name. In this one, Final Cut Pro, we have what we call, we're going to right click our event, and then we're going to go down to new keyword collection. So that's what that's called, to organize all your footage. So you hit new keyword collection, and here we can start to organize our project. So for this one, I'm going to put footage. Okay. So I can put all my footage right there. And then let's say I want to do another keyword collection. So then I will do this one for audio, right? So then I can start putting all my stuff here. And so what I would do is I would go back to my project. I would highlight all my footage, and then I would take it and drop it in footage. So now whenever I need to get to the footage much quicker, instead of skimming through this window, I could just hit footage and I'm right there. And then you could put your audio here, and actually you could put all kinds of stuff. You could put the music that you're going to use, put that here too. So this is just a cool way to organize all your elements for your project. Now we are going to start a new project. And so you can click new project here, and now this window will pop up. So project name, you want to name it. So I'll just say this is Venue Premiere. Okay. Venue Premiere. Hopefully I spelled that right. If not, forgive me. This is an editing video, not a spelling video. Okay, so we'll do 4K because that is the resolution that I have it in, the format that I have it in, that I shot it in. So make sure whatever you shoot your clips in, your footage in, you make sure the format is the same for your editing. So I got 4K footage. This is the resolution. That's correct. I shot it at 24 frames per second, so we're going to do 23.98. It just edits much better. So that's good. And then this is good. This is good for audio. Okay, so once all those things are good, we're going to hit OK. So once we hit OK, now we have our timeline that is opened up, and we still have our viewfinder over here, and we are ready to drag our first clip and drop it on the timeline so we can begin editing. You hit spacebar, and it starts to play. And next up, I want you to understand your workspace. I just want to give you a brief overview of what is accessible to you. This is your library's sidebar, and you can have several libraries open, and you can toggle between them, drop them down. You can have several of them open between here. You can take certain footage and drop them and put them in different libraries, okay? Next to that, we have our photos, videos, and music sidebar. Now you got your photos here. You can import photos from here. You can import music from here. Apple TV also has a feature here, and we have some sound effects here that you can pull from that are already within the platform. Now, I tend to not use this. I always import a lot of what I need for my project from other sources, like Motion Array. I am not sponsored by them, but Motion Array, if you want to sponsor me, I'm here for it. So yeah, this is what this is. If you want to use it, cool. Next, we have our titles and generators sidebar. This is where you find your titles and generators. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this as we move forward. So for now, we're going to skip that. Now, right next to the library sidebar, we have our event viewer. And here in our event viewer, this is where we can view our footage, and you can make it smaller or bigger. I like to have it a little bit bigger, so that's the way I like to edit. And right down here, you have your time code that's visible. So when you hit spacebar and it plays it, you can see your time code go and see where you're at within the footage. Then up here, we also have on display our resolution, which is in 4K. We also have our frame rate. Then over here, we have our viewer zoom. And you can click that and it drops down. And if you want to zoom in on it, you can always hit 50% and it'll go closer, 150%. And then over here, you have this little toggle where you can take it around so you can view your whole footage while it's close up. And what we're going to do is going to hit this. We're going to go back to snap to fit. Now over here by default, we're on our color correction tab, and I'm going to take you through each one of them. But the first tab is where we'll find all of our transform buttons. Now here we can scale our footage, meaning zoom in like we just did, or zoom out for transform. We can also, like if you want to take left to right, you can move it to the side, however you want to do that. Then here you can also rotate your footage, right? So that's that. Then down here you can crop your footage from left, right, or you can do the right, top, bottom. So that's how you crop your footage. And down here you can distort. I rarely ever use this, but it is an interesting type effect where you can kind of distort your image. And you can use this for like cool effects if you want, but this is where you'll find it. And here's the stabilizing button, stabilization, which I love. I use this a lot, especially when I'm doing handheld recording. It has in stabilization effects in here, which will stabilize your footage and it'll look like you never was shaky from the first place. So I use that a lot. Now back up here, we have our compositing effects area where you can blend. You can hit that, drop down, you can subtract, dark, multiply your image, and the opacity where you can make it darker or more transparent by using that. Now next we're going to go to our color correction tab. And right now we have our wheels here. This is global. This deals with shadows, highlights, midtones. It breaks it up. We have temperature. You can take your temperature how you want it. We also have our tint here. I'm not going to go too deep in this. That'll be on another video, but just know that this is where you will change how your color looks on your footage. And when you hit this, you can actually drop down and it will give you different color options you can play with. This is the one I usually start with, where you can deal with the exposure, you know, correct the color. You have your midtones right here. You have your shadows here. You can already see how it changed. And then you have your all global, which it corrects all of them at the same time. Then if you go over here with saturation, you can take that up as well. It keeps the same buttons, midtone, shadows, highlights, and all of that. And then in color, this is where you can kind of correct the color of it and use these. These are just different ways that you can change the colors. You got the color wheel, you got the color board, you got color curves. It really gets in depth. This is a whole nother video, but this is where you will start your color correction process. And next to that, we have our audio. And in our audio, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is where you change how high you want your audio, how low you want it. And down here, you'll be able to see your audio as it's being changed. You got equalizer, voice isolation. These are audio enhancements. And this is the amount of audio that you would like loudness. You can hit that. This is really cool. It automatically analyzes your audio for you and shows you where you're having problems, and it'll fix it for you. Noise removal, hum removal. I use these a lot, especially when I'm filming in very loud areas. And these are just good volume assists for you. And then over here is just information about your footage. Now we want to go back over here to our timeline because we want to start editing our video. So let's begin. Okay, when editing, first I want to show you about our editing tools. If you click this arrow, it'll drop down and have different tools for you. And it's important, one thing to know, your shortcuts for your keyboard. You want to know your shortcuts for the keyboard so you can get to these tools much faster. Now I can click it from here. For instance, I can click blade, and this will help me cut up my footage wherever I want to cut it up at. Or I can just hit A to take me to select, or B to take me to blade. If you ever forget, just click here and it'll show you on your keyboard the letter that corresponds to your actual tool. So let's go back to select. So next over here, we have our video skimming. And what video skimming does is, you could see wherever I put my mouse at, it shows me where I'm at. But if I click and toggle off video skimming, then it doesn't show me where I'm at on the timeline, which could be beneficial because sometimes it could be a headache that is going back and forth when you just want to take your mouse over here and click to that part of the image or take it back. But if you want to put it back on, just hit skimming, and now you see it's back on. Now the next thing you need to know about is your snapping tool. Right now snapping is on. I'm going to turn it off, and you can see here that when it's off, I can move my image wherever I want, right, without it snapping back into place. But then if I do turn it on, it'll snap back into place. And this is really beneficial because you don't have to spend time trying to examine it and put it in the right place. It literally just goes right into place. So I like having snapping tool on. And this next one here is to show you the size of your timeline. Like if you want your footage on your timeline to be much bigger, you want to zoom in on it, you can zoom in on it. These are different ones right here where you can, how you want it to display. This displays just the volume, not the image. This displays part of the image and the volume, as you can see right here. So you can kind of know your image down here if you're skimming. And it makes it even a little bit bigger, much bigger, more bigger to where you don't see the volume at all. But these are your tools right here, and I tend to like to do it like this. Now right over here you have your effects browser, and this is where all your effects are. They have some really good ones. You have them all set up in categories. You have video here, so these are all your video ones, and you have your audio effects down here. So you could toggle through these, and also you can get third-party effects that you can drag into Final Cut Pro and use it outward. And then next to that, we have our transitions tab, which are great, cool, little fun transitions you can choose from, which we'll get into a little bit later. But also you can use third-party transition effects and bring them into Final Cut Pro X. All right, so let's start the fun part, editing our clips. Okay, so I like this clip. I wanted to start off with, this is something I actually shot for a women's conference. So I want to start off with this clip, so I'll play it. And what you want to do is skim through so you can find the best. So this right here seems like the best shot. I did several of them, and I want to try to get a clean shot. So I actually start right here. So I'll click this, I'll hit the B for my blade tool, and I will hit this area is where I want it, right? Then I'll hit back A, and I'll get my select tool, I'll select this, and I'll get rid of it. Now, if you want to do that different, and you want to undo, so hit Command Z brings it back, Command Z again brings it back to undo. And what you can do also, if you think this is the point you want to be at, you can take the edge of the clip and drag it all the way here. That's a little bit more tedious, especially when you're in the flow of editing. So what I tend to like to do is find where I want it. Okay, I like it there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit here, I'm gonna hit B, cut it, A, and get rid of it. So then I have a pretty smooth, clean opening, except for that lady coming in. So I want to make sure I'm gonna back up with the arrow so that she is no longer in the frame. Boom, right there is where I want. So I'm gonna hit B, I'm gonna hit that, then hey, A, back to my tool, then erase it like that. Okay, cool. So I feel like this is too small for me to work with. I want to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click my transition to get rid of that. Then I'm going to click this to, remember, zoom in so it's much bigger and I can work with it better. All right. So this isn't a clip I want right now. I want to use another clip. I want to start off with this clip. Okay. Instead of dragging the full clip, right, down and then editing it here, you can also drag wherever you want your clip at. So let's see, let's play the clip up in the events viewer so we can see it. Okay, I kind of like that. So we can kind of scrub through and I hit spacebar. Okay. That one's a little shaky. I like this one before. I like this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here, and what you wanna do is you wanna hit the letter I, and you see the yellow actually was here and it jumped where I wanted it. So that's the I, that's the intro. And then we're gonna play it to see where we want it to end. I want it to end right about here. So I'll hit spacebar again to stop it, and I'm gonna hit O for outro. So now you see the yellow bar was once over here and it was over here, but now I have the clip that I want. So I'll just get that, drag and drop, boom. So now I don't have to drop it on the timeline and try to edit it right here. It's literally exactly how I wanted it to be before I put it on my timeline. Okay, now what I want my next edit to be, we got a close up here. Okay, so we're gonna skim through, kind of see where we want it. I kind of like this, so I'm gonna start here to see how that looks. I kind of like this shot. It moves quick, it's a close up. So I want to start here, and then here's another cool trick you can do. Instead of just hitting B, right, and it brings up the blades and you hit the blade, let's go back. Let's do Command Z to undo. And what we're gonna do is we're going to hit Command B. And what is that gonna do? It's gonna immediately cut it. So instead of bringing the scissors out, I could just immediately cut it, and then it'll stay on my select tool arrow, so I can move much quicker. That's why it's really important to really learn the shortcuts on the keyboards so that your editing process can go faster. But this is the basic tutorial, right? But I wanted to show you that. Okay, so now I wanted to start here. I hit spacebar, and I want this clip to go faster, so I'll stop there. I like that. So then once again, I'm gonna hit Command B, which cuts it immediately. Now I have my footage right here in the middle, so I can get rid of these. So I'll select that, hit delete. I'll select that, hit delete. Now let's see where I'm at. Got my first opening, nice smooth, nice smooth transition, and nice smooth transition. And in the beginning we got a little blur and it came into focus, which I really like. Now let's move on to effects. To go to our effects, we go right over here to our effects browser. We'll click that, and then we'll scroll through here. So let's add some more room there. What's cool about this, you can go to the search bar to find your effects instead of trying to click to each one. So I'm gonna put aged film. I'm not sure it works really for this, but we're still gonna just play with it. So aged film. So the cool thing about it is you can preview it before you even put it on your clip. So you see this is my clip right here. Naturally, this is my clip. So when I go over aged film effect, it shows me what it would look like. So I go, okay, I like this. I'll take it, drag, drop it onto there, and then I can play it easy, just like that. I want to play with some transition effects, right? We also got some cool transition effects. Sorry. It's right next to the effects browser, remember that? So let's see, we can do a cross dissolve, but I want to do something a little bit more fancier. Let's go to movements, and in movements, let's go to slide. I use slide a lot, I love slide. So I'm gonna take this and I'm going to drop it right here. on top of the first and second clip. So let's see how that looks. Let's start right here. Let's see how that looks. Look at that. Look at that. Nice little slide over to the next clip and going into the next clip with an effect. Let's see. For this one, maybe I want to do a push, right? So I'll take this, and from my second clip into my third, we'll do a push. So let's see how that looks. Boom, going into my third clip with the effect on it, film effect. So let's start from the beginning. Let's see how that looks with those two transitions. Ba-dow, look at that slide. Goes into the second clip, very smooth, and then ba-dow, we got a push. And also, I want to let it be known that you can extend your effect so it'll extend the duration of the effect. So watch as I do that. I extended it, so now it goes much slower. So the duration of the effect is either extended or it is shortened, just like that. Okay, now let's deal with our titles and generators. So we're gonna go over here, we're gonna click titles and generators, and then this will show us all of our titles and generators. I downloaded some, which I wanna play with. Let's see, maybe, let's do this. This is one I downloaded. Now you can drag and drop it, right? Or you can double click it and it'll still pop down here on your timeline. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take this and we're gonna click here to our transform. Remember, you can get to your transform over here, but here's a quick shortcut. You're gonna hit your transform and that'll bring up this kind of window around it. And you can take the middle part and kind of bring it wherever you want on your clip. So I want it down here, right? Let's say I put it down here. Now let's see when it pops up. Nice. So now we got a nice title down there. And if we want to change it, all we got to do is click it on our timeline, double click it. And then over here, all the stuff you need for your lower third title will pop up and you can change the name. Let's see, venue, preview. And then you can also click the bottom part where it says creative director. Let's just say tutorial productions. Right now you can play with the size of it. We can make this a little bit bigger, as you can see right there. Let me make this bigger so you can see. And you can do the different fonts. These are all your fonts you can play with. You just click it. Let's say we'll do display. Now whatever font you click, you can click how you want it to look. And this is for the second size of it. We can play with that. And then over here, you could deal with line spacing. You see that? Shows you how the space between the letters. Okay, we could bring that back. And anytime you want to undo something, you have it right here. You can hit that arrow and it'll undo it. Okay, these are cap size, how big you want it. And remember, once you mess with this, you have to hit if you want it all caps, and then it'll change it for you. Okay, and down here, these are like you want to rotate it, right? You can rotate the image. I don't really use those too much. Like if you want to do something very artistic, this is what you would use. Okay, and down here, this is the face, meaning this is whatever color you want it to be. You have different color options. You could do the color wheel, color bars, or just hit the colors that you want. You can find the color you want on here, or you can use the color pencils, which is pretty cool. These are just all different ways you want to view the colors that you want to pick. And then something else that's cool, let's say if the image, if the color you want is orange. See, it's kind of blending into the effects that's already there that's orange. So what you want to do is go to outline. I use this a lot. And then you'll hit the color here, right? And then I'll put black. And as you can see, it outlines it in black. Let's zoom in. Remember, this is our zoom in feature. We do 100. We'll toggle this down. See, now it makes it pop a little more. If you want that outline to be a little bit more bigger, go to width, and then you can like drag this over and you see it makes it much bigger. So now it's more visible, or you can just click that and type in 4.5 and it'll do it. All right, and remember we hit this to go fit, snap back into place. So this is how you use your titles. Drag, drop, and then manipulate it until you get it to where you want. Okay, if we are good with our project, now it's time to export. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go up here and you want to click this little icon right here. That's our export icon. And then you have all these options. And remember, we shot it in 4K footage. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to hit Apple devices, 4K. And what you have here is the info. So you want to make sure this is the name you want for it. Venue Premiere. I want to change it to Venue Preview. And then in settings, this is where you have more information. Now, format, you have mastering, publishing. You don't want to mess with broadcast. Mastering and publishing are the two things you want to focus on. For mastering, for video and audio, it is an uncompressed file. So that means it's the biggest file you can have because it's not compressed. And then down here you have publishing, like Apple devices, computers, social media platforms. That is a compressed file. And that's what I usually use because most of the stuff that I upload is going to be used for online. And I'm sure for you for content creation. So I do Apple devices. Let's just say I did that one for right now. This is a video codec. Better is good. Let's just stick with that one. And then this is the resolution size. So if it's at 4K, let's click 4K and then go to info and now hit next. And then it'll show us where we would like to save it. Now up here, you see this little circle right here. You're seeing that it's almost filled. This is showing you the time it is taking for it to export. And if you want to see it much clearer, you'll just click this circle and then it'll show you right here, sharing, and it'll show you the percentage. You can click down on it and it'll actually show you what it is finishing up for your percentage. In this case, we just have this one video. So it's showing us just this one video. And voila, we have our video is done, nice and exported and ready to go with those smooth transitions and those dope effects and the title at the bottom. So that's it for the beginner's tutorial. Hopefully you learned something from this. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll be putting up more videos on a deeper dive into Final Cut Pro X for beginners. Till next time, let's create.